Here is the professional translation of the news briefings. Briefing, The Economist and Media Dynamics, March 18, 2026, ***. Today, the global media spotlight is on a major equity shift at The Economist. Canadian financial tycoon and billionaire Stephen Smith has officially reached an agreement to acquire a roughly 27% stake in the magazine from Exor, the investment vehicle of Italy's Agnelli family. This transaction introduces a new heavyweight shareholder to the authoritative 180-year-old publication. Smith's involvement is expected to provide fresh capital support for the magazine's long-term financial stability and global expansion. Against the backdrop of deep media transformation, the forms of news dissemination are evolving. Recent academic debates over the memification of news have intensified, with analyses suggesting that information in the social media era is becoming increasingly fragmented and entertained, a stark contrast to the in-depth analytical model upheld by traditional serious media like The Economist. Furthermore, intellectual exchange between the political and business sectors remains vibrant. Former U.S. Senator Phil Gramm was recently invited to deliver a keynote speech at Cedarville University. As a veteran economic policy expert, Graham's views often resonate with the principles of free trade and market economics advocated by The Economist, further drawing public attention to the logic of current global economic governance. Time Journal Special Briefing. On March 18, 2026, multidimensional narratives of time unfolded across various fields. From real-time tracking of natural ecosystems to the historical freezing of athletic competition, time serves not only as a unit of measurement but as a bridge connecting the past and the future. In ecological research, the study of monarch butterfly migration has entered a new phase. Using real-time tracking technology, researchers are recording the life trajectories of this species with unprecedented precision. On the sports field, time has become a critical test of will and strategy. The University of New Mexico Lobos are racing against the clock to reshape their defensive system, striving to regain their competitive edge for the tournament's crucial moments. Meanwhile, the broadcast countdown for the NASCAR event in Las Vegas has begun, with precise scheduling ensuring global audiences witness the collision of speed and passion simultaneously. On a more humanistic level, discussions regarding time capsules surged during the Minnesota State boys hockey tournament, as people contemplated how to preserve present athletic glory for history. This tribute to time is sublimated in the literary narratives of Norman Knight, who uses a time-traveling perspective to guide readers in examining the passage of years through daily records. From microscopic biological pulses to grand historical preservation, today's time logs sketch a portrait of an era spanning nature, competition, and humanity. Briefing, Natural Exploration and Cultural Dynamics Summary, March 18, 2026. Today's scientific and cultural landscapes feature profound interdisciplinary exploration. In the natural sciences, the latest research reveals complex and hidden truths. The scientific community is gradually validating the mysterious and long-ignored symptoms of endometriosis that most distress patients, marking a breakthrough in women's health. Simultaneously, marine biology research has found that bull sharks possess human-like complex social circles. They not only establish long-term friendships but also strategically avoid competitors, demonstrating surprising social behavioral patterns. In culture and media, the interaction between literature and art is increasingly active. Renowned nature writer Cy Montgomery will visit Union City on March 26 to share her deep observations on natural life. Meanwhile, various poetry workshops and public readings are connecting communities through literary creation. Regarding executive changes, Disney has officially appointed O'Connell as chairman of Entertainment Television, signaling a new strategic layout for the mainstream media giant. From microscopic physiological mechanisms to macroscopic ecological socializing and media industry shifts, today's dynamics highlight humanity's ongoing focus on the mysteries of life and social connection. Forbes Special Briefing, March 18, 2026. Today, the release of the Forbes 2026 Global Billionaires list has become a focal point, revealing the latest shifts in the wealth landscape. This year's list features significant jumps for veterans like Kinder and Friedkin, while pop icon Beyoncé has officially joined the billionaire ranks, underscoring the immense earning power of the entertainment industry. Geographically, Philadelphia and Colorado performed strongly, with several residents entering the list due to steady asset growth. Meanwhile, capital markets are active. Canadian billionaire Stephen Smith announced his acquisition of a 27% stake in The Economist, a major equity change drawing widespread media attention. However, beyond the myths of wealth, the impact of technology on the workplace presents a paradox. Despite high hopes that artificial intelligence would liberate labor, a new Forbes in-depth report points out that AI has not significantly lightened employee workloads in practice. Instead, by generating massive amounts of information and derivative tasks, it has trapped professionals in a more demanding busyness trap. Summary *: The 2026 Forbes report not only records the further concentration of global wealth among top elites and entertainment icons but also reflects deeply on the alienation of AI technology in the productivity process, revealing the complex workplace dilemmas and capital flows beneath the surface of prosperity. Wealth Dynamics Briefing, March 18, 2026. The current global economic and financial landscape is at a critical juncture of severe volatility. Bridgewater Associates founder Ray Dalio has issued a stern warning, suggesting the world is approaching the end of what he defines as a big cycle, with geopolitical and economic environments exhibiting turbulent characteristics similar to the period pre-1945. Influenced by this macro pressure, top strategists hold a pessimistic outlook for capital markets, predicting that the S&P 500's annualized return over the next decade may be as low as 3%, signaling an era of long-term low growth. In the realm of industry governance and compliance, the storm continues. A recent investigation disclosed that internal accounts at Binance allegedly assisted in transferring over $1 billion to entities related to Iran, once again highlighting regulatory loopholes in the cryptocurrency market. Simultaneously, the corporate world is responding to challenges through leadership changes. Fortune Brands announced its latest governance and leadership updates, aimed at enhancing its ability to navigate complex environments through structural optimization. Additionally, the geographical distribution of wealth has drawn attention, with the latest lists revealing a cluster of billionaires choosing Rhode Island as their residence, reflecting the asset allocation and lifestyle preferences of high-net-worth individuals during volatile cycles. Overall, from historical warnings of macro cycles to micro-level corporate governance adjustments, the current market is undergoing profound structural reshaping. Bloomberg Businessweek Briefing, Political Economic Shifts and Industrial Restructuring. On March 18, 2026, the global political and economic landscape presented a complex interplay of policy maneuvering and market transformation. In macro policy and geopolitics, educational equity and energy security have taken center stage. Currently, political manipulation by Democrats regarding scholarship policies has sparked controversy, with critics alleging it harms ordinary families and fails to deliver on promises of inclusive education. Meanwhile, instability in the Middle East has triggered a Strait of Hormuz fertilizer crisis. Against the backdrop of global supply chain disruptions, China has expanded its influence in this sector through stable production capacity and logistical advantages. In financial markets, credit structures are undergoing deep adjustments. The wave of investor withdrawals and private credit has spread to consumer loans, reflecting a cautious market stance toward high-risk assets. Regarding media dynamics, Bloomberg successfully poached veteran journalist Patterson from the Wall Street Journal, demonstrating the ongoing rivalry among top financial media for talent and content depth. The tech industry has entered a strategic contraction phase focused on deceleration for efficiency. OpenAI announced it will cut non-core peripheral projects to concentrate resources on its core business, seeking a key breakthrough during this period of white-hot AI competition. Summary * from partisan divides over education policy to supply chain restructuring under geopolitical conflict, and from risk aversion in financial credit to the strategic focus of tech giants. Today's highlights reflect a global market seeking core competitiveness amidst uncertainty. Scientific American Frontier Tech Briefing, March 18, 2026. Recently, Scientific American has focused on breakthroughs ranging from geophysics to biomedicine. In environmental science, research warns that climate change is causing the Earth's rotation to slow at an unprecedented rate, leading to a continuous increase in day length, a phenomenon highlighting the profound impact of global warming on planetary physical properties. In biomedicine and life sciences, researchers have successfully restored neural activity in a frozen mouse brain for the first time, marking a milestone for cryopreservation technology. Meanwhile, GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic have shown significant efficacy in kidney treatment, reshaping chronic disease management and improving patient quality of life. Furthermore, the field of material science has seen the strongest evidence yet for the synthesis of hexagonal diamond, lonsdaleite. Progress in preparing this rare material is expected to open a new era for superhard material applications. Finally, by reviewing the history of science in 1876, 1926, and 1976, this issue demonstrates the continuity of human exploration and highlights the explosive innovative power of contemporary technology across a century and a half of history. Nature Journal Academic Dynamics Briefing, March 18, 2026. Today, Nature published several research findings covering life sciences, environmental science, planetary exploration, and AI, showcasing the depth and breadth of interdisciplinary research. In biomedicine, a study on neonatal immunity revealed the critical role of maternal innate immunity in defending against E. coli sepsis, providing a new theoretical basis for protecting newborns from fatal infections. Simultaneously, regarding public health assessment, researchers explored the availability of generic formulations and their application in exposure assessments, aiming to improve the universality and efficiency of chemical safety monitoring. In environmental and space sciences, researchers warned that anthropogenic compounds are now widespread in dissolved organic matter in the oceans, highlighting the chemical pollution pressure facing global marine ecosystems. In deep space exploration, a special study on the lunar south further analyzed the unique environment of the region, providing key data for future lunar base construction and resource development. Additionally, this issue launched a special collection on agentic AI systems, systematically discussing the application potential and the ethical and technical challenges of AI agents capable of autonomous decision-making and execution in complex tasks. In summary, today's research dynamics not only deepen our understanding of natural immune mechanisms and environmental changes but also outline a clear technical path for human lunar exploration and an intelligent future. Briefing, Media and Cultural Dynamics Observation, March 18, 2026. In the current media and social context, The New Yorker and other mainstream outlets are focusing on the politicization of religion, industry transformation, and deep cultural narratives. In-depth report, The Rise of Religious Nationalism. The New Yorker recently published a major investigation into a megachurch at the heart of the Christian nationalist movement. The report notes that the institution has evolved beyond a place of worship into a bastion of political mobilization, exerting a profound influence on the U.S. political landscape by merging faith with radical nationalist narratives. This trend has sparked widespread concern across society regarding the principle of separation of church and state and the exacerbation of social fragmentation. Industry warning: sharp decline in news site traffic. The media industry is facing a severe survival challenge. Latest data shows that 30 of the top 50 news websites in the U.S. saw double-digit year-on-year plunges in traffic in February. This traffic winter reflects a dramatic shift in how audiences consume information and the ongoing impact of social media algorithm adjustments on traditional news distribution, forcing media organizations to explore new growth paths. Culture and narrative: diverse expression from screen to life. In the cultural sphere, narrative diversity and personal struggle remain core themes. Critics have highly praised Michael B. Jordan for achieving impossible breakthroughs in the film industry, arguing that his career trajectory has redefined the power structure for Black filmmakers in Hollywood. Meanwhile, literary and documentary works like Abuelita showcase cross-regional cultural fusion and identity through family stories rooted in the Midwest and extending to New York. Clash of opinions: social response to radical rhetoric. Furthermore, discussions regarding social antagonism in the mainstream public square have reached a fever pitch. Opinion pieces and outlets like the New York Times use declaration of war-style rhetoric, reflecting the growing hostility and polarization in current public discourse. Summary: today's media landscape presents a sharp contrast. On one hand, in-depth reporting continues to peel back the layers of complex social phenomena. On the other, the news industry struggles through a digital retreat. Amidst the interplay of political maneuvering and cultural reshaping, deep narrative remains the key to understanding this complex era. Briefing: Global Business Trends and Policy Dynamics, March 18, 2026. In the rapidly evolving global business environment, the core of corporate competitiveness is shifting from mere technological accumulation to deep operational capabilities and strategic thinking. Management Frontier: Operational Capability and AI Strategic Reconstruction. The latest research from Harvard Business Review points out that the key to continuous operational improvement lies in 4 core capabilities: process transparency, cross-departmental collaboration, data-driven decision-making, and agile execution. Simultaneously, addressing current pitfalls in AI investment, experts warn that most companies still mistakenly view AI as an isolated technical tool rather than an engine for strategic transformation. A true AI strategy should be deeply integrated into business processes rather than merely pursuing automation, otherwise, it will be difficult to achieve the expected return on investment. Macro policy: China's economic direction and regional industrial rivalry. At the global macro level, policy signals from China's 2 sessions are drawing significant attention. A recent seminar by the Asia Society focused on the preliminary direction of China's 15th Five-Year Plan and the evolution of U.S.-China relations, emphasizing the central role of economic policy stability and technological self-reliance in the upcoming 5-year plan. Meanwhile, the rivalry among local governments over digital economy infrastructure is intensifying. Debates in Rhode Island over whether to offer large-scale tax incentives to attract data centers reflect a common dilemma in regional economic development: how to balance attracting high-tech investment with maintaining local fiscal health and resource sustainability. Social dynamics. Beyond the grand narratives of business and policy, various sectors of society have expressed condolences for the loss of outstanding contributors. Burlington, Iowa, today commemorated the life of Keith Schultz, reflecting on his long-term contributions to the local community. Summary *: Today's information flow shows that whether in micro-level corporate optimization or macro-level transnational policy maneuvering, the core logic points toward long-termism and strategic synergy. Businesses and policymakers must look beyond short-term interests to find a new balance for growth between technological innovation and social responsibility. Vogue Observation Briefing: The Interweaving of Fashion, Politics, and Cultural Paradigms. March 18, 2026. In the current cultural context, Vogue and its related commentaries present a complex interweaving. It serves as both a magnifying glass for political scrutiny and a bellwether for social aesthetic shifts. Regarding the visual expression of politics and power, Vogue's focus on political figures has sparked widespread discussion. An analysis of Marco Rubio's clothing details was seen not just as a critique of personal taste, but as a deep metaphor for the anxious vanity within the Trump administration. However, this tendency to entertain politics has drawn backlash. A Kennedy family heir recently publicly slammed her former employer, Vogue, accusing it of overhyping entertainment anecdotes in serious contexts and calling for media to return to more valuable content creation. Simultaneously, controversy over Vogue's brand positioning is heating up. Some commentators point out that such legacy fashion magazines are gradually evolving into teen magazines for adults, wavering between in-depth content and fast food pop culture. This trend is particularly evident in the penetration of social media culture, such as the deep dive into the social circles of Charlie XCX and Addison Rae, reflecting the magazine's intense focus on the influencer economy and Gen Z friendship logic. On the social issue front, the dramatic shift in aesthetic paradigms has become a focal point. Vogue India noted that with the official arrival of the thin drug era ushered in by medications like Ozempic, the once dominant body positivity movement is facing severe challenges. This shift from inclusive body diversity back to technologically intervened aesthetics marks the global fashion industry's entry into a more complex and controversial news cycle. In summary, today's Vogue is not just a fashion publication but a contradictory cultural battlefield. While recording pop icons and socialites, it is also deeply mired in the whirlpool of political criticism and the reshaping of aesthetic values. Briefing, Vanity Fair Dynamics Summary, March 18, 2026, ****. With the arrival of Oscar Week 2026, Vanity Fair has once again become the center where Hollywood power and fashion converge. In the highly anticipated Vanity Fair spring issue, Kylie Jenner appears in a high-tension shoot, wearing a Chanel cape and interpreting avant-garde fashion with bold bow designs. Her rebellious image smoking in the cover feature has sparked extensive social media discussion. However, behind the glitz and glamour, this year's Vanity Fair Oscar party encountered technical challenges. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the party venue suffered a severe lighting nightmare, with illumination failures causing significant trouble for red carpet photography and the on-site atmosphere. Nevertheless, as a core event of Oscar Week, it remains a top-tier social fixture alongside events from Warner Bros., Netflix, the Governor's Ball, and the Elton John viewing party. Additionally, the media industry has recently seen a surge in retrospectives on classic publications. By reviewing the rise and fall of George magazine, founded by JFK Jr., analysts are further exploring the evolution of crossover political and entertainment media in an era led by legacy titles like Vanity Fair. Overall, despite flaws in on-site execution, Vanity Fair remains the definitive bellwether of global pop culture and celebrity socializing, thanks to its highly topical cover stars and irreplaceable social influence. Rolling Stone Today, Dynamics Briefing, March 18, 2026. In today's Rolling Stone coverage, the future vitality of the music industry and controversial commentary on political figures form the core picture. Music Frontier, 2026 Future of Music Showcase opens. This week, Rolling Stone focused on rising musical forces through in-depth reporting and visual presentations. The 2026 Future of Music Showcase became a focal point, with a gallery of highlights capturing the stage presence of a new generation of artists. Among them, the regional Mexican music leaders Fuerza Regida dominated the stage with their rebellious rock spirit, demonstrating cross-border cultural influence. Meanwhile, Texas rap rising star Big X The Plug drew attention with his massive ambition and unique regional style, sparking industry-wide discussion on his future trajectory. New music and reviews. In this week's must-listen list, diverse artists such as Casey Musgraves, James Blake, and Kim Gordon have all returned. From the gentleness of folk to the avant-garde of experimental electronic, these works sketch the rich and varied creative ecosystem of the current music scene. Political observation, sharp criticism of Kristi Noem. In the political commentary section, Rolling Stone published an in-depth analysis of South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. The article used harsh language, accusing her of long-standing incompetence and narcissism, and reflected on why these traits did not trigger sufficient public alarm earlier in her political career. Summary * From the rise of Texas rap and the cross-border impact of Latin music to the sharp scrutiny of political figures, Rolling Stone's content today continues to operate at the intersection of pop culture and sociopolitics, recording moments of artistic innovation while maintaining a critical perspective on the power class. Briefing, Tech and Security Frontiers, March 18, 2026. Today's tech and social sectors exhibit a multidimensional landscape ranging from data security scandals to breakthroughs in frontier neuroscience. In government regulation and data security, staff at the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, are caught in a media firestorm. According to Wired, DOGE member John Solly is accused of planning to steal sensitive data from the Social Security Administration upon his departure to take to a new position. This scandal has triggered high public vigilance regarding government data protection mechanisms and internal personnel compliance. Simultaneously, the digital media industry is facing a severe traffic winter. Latest data shows that 30 of the top 50 news websites in the U.S. saw double-digit year-on-year declines in traffic in February, reflecting the survival struggles of traditional news brands amidst algorithmic shifts and changing user habits. In the realm of technical application, smart homes and neuroscience have seen significant progress. Exor released a new smart home security series, including the Camera Hub G350 and Doorbell Camera G400, further strengthening its home monitoring ecosystem. On the scientific frontier, researchers successfully uploaded fruit fly brain data into a virtual matrix, enabling it to control a virtual body, a breakthrough experiment opening new paths for digital life and neural simulation research. Furthermore, the financial security situation remains grim. Investigations have revealed increasingly rampant cryptocurrency money laundering activities within Cambodia, highlighting the massive challenges Southeast Asia faces in combating cross-border digital asset crime. Summary ** Whether it is the risk of internal government data leaks, the traffic crisis in digital media, or frontier brain-computer interface experiments, today's news points to a core theme: as technology evolves rapidly, how can we build more robust security defenses and sustainable development models? People Journal Special Briefing, March 18, 2026. Today's global perspective focuses on the rise of individual influence and the survival of citizens under geopolitical pressure. At the international political level, tensions in Iran remain high. The Tehran authorities are launching a new round of harsh crackdowns on domestic citizens to prevent potential uprisings. Meanwhile, external intelligence pressure is mounting, with Mossad sending a strong signal to the Iranian regime through targeted actions: stand with the people, or face destruction, highlighting the central role of popular will in regime power struggles. In the sphere of social and community life, the power of individuals and collectives shows positive vitality. The 2026 Tri-Cities Influential Figures Awards were announced, honoring outstanding individuals who have led the way in business and social change. In culture and ecology, the Oak Park and River Forest communities are inspiring public passion for edible gardening through the Deep Roots Initiative, advocating for a sustainable lifestyle. Additionally, the grand scale of the St. Patrick's Day Parade, with the active participation of 113 groups, recorded the vitality of the public during traditional festivities. Summary ** Whether in the struggle under political high pressure or contributions to community building and cultural heritage, today's news sketches the multidimensional face of the people as the drivers of history. They are both the center of geopolitical storms and the foundation of community prosperity and ecological transformation. Newsweek Special Briefing, March 18, 2026. Today, Newsweek focuses on major dynamics in political maneuvering, public health, and natural science. At the intersection of politics and trade, the Trump administration has made substantial progress in the TikTok deal. According to the latest reports, the U.S. government will receive up to $10 billion from the transaction, marking a new phase in the long-term regulatory and commercial battle over the social platform. Simultaneously, the grassroots political map in the U.S. saw a historic shift. Republicans successfully flipped a seat held by Democrats for nearly 40 years, a rare victory sparking widespread discussion on future election trends. Additionally, California Governor Gavin Newsom's cold response to rumors of Trump gifting shoes added a layer of hostility to current partisan confrontations. In public welfare, the American College of Cardiology, ACC, and the American Heart Association, AHA, jointly released updated cholesterol management guidelines. The guidelines propose more targeted intervention standards for current national health conditions, aiming to reduce cardiovascular disease risk through scientific guidance. In natural science, a shocking geographical study has drawn global attention. Monitoring data shows that the Earth's rotation speed is undergoing a drastic change not seen in 3.6 million years. This phenomenon not only challenges existing geophysical knowledge but could also have profound impacts on global timekeeping systems and the natural environment. Briefing, Comprehensive Dynamics Review, March 18, 2026. Today, several cross-sector dynamics demonstrate profound changes ranging from geopolitics to social welfare. At the international political level, influenced by ongoing conflicts, rifts between transatlantic allies over policy toward Russia are becoming increasingly prominent, testing the stability of the traditional transatlantic alliance. In the social and media sphere, The Atlantic has become a focal point. The magazine is not only deeply exploring the personal growth topic of how to take smart risks, but the resistance its reporter encountered while interviewing Representative Jasmine Crockett has sparked discussion on the boundaries between media oversight and political PR. Meanwhile, regional business and cultural cooperation show new vitality. Atlanta's WNBA and MLS teams announced a retail partnership called United We Dream, deepening community identity through crossover collaboration. In consumer business, retailer Harris Teeter officially received construction permits to return to the Jacksonville market after a 20-year absence. From macro-level international maneuvering to micro-level business returns, today's dynamics reflect how various sectors are seeking a new balance through strategic adjustments and cross-sector collaboration in a complex and volatile global environment. Foreign Affairs Briefing: Global Geopolitical Trends and Policy Reshaping, March 18, 2026. Currently, the global diplomatic landscape is in a period of intense upheaval and reshaping. Under the dual pressures of regional conflict and rising populism, nations are re-examining their diplomatic strategies and alliances. Core Dynamics **** Great power rivalry and regional conflict **** As the situation in the Middle East escalates, the Turkish foreign minister emphasized in a recent interview his diplomatic mediation efforts under the shadow of regional war, attempting to find a balance among conflicting parties. Meanwhile, military actions targeting Iran have caused rifts among allies. The Canadian government explicitly stated it was not consulted on related actions and publicly refused to participate in any offensive military operations, highlighting divisions within the Western camp over war decisions. Populism's reshaping of foreign policy. Research from the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace points out that India's foreign policy is being deeply influenced by populism. This domestic-oriented transformation is changing its interaction patterns with major powers. Additionally, a think tank's in-depth analysis of the intellectual logic behind the MAGA, Make America Great Again, movement further reveals how populism is reshaping the global political map from an intellectual and strategic level. Frontier issues and multilateral challenges. The interweaving of climate diplomacy and international public opinion has become a focus. Commentaries point out that from climate gossip to substantive policy maneuvering, environmental issues have become a key metric for measuring the effectiveness of international cooperation. Meanwhile, the situation in Ukraine, represented by the Odessa Journal, remains a core variable affecting the European security architecture. Summary ***: Today's foreign affairs exhibit a clear, domestic spillover characteristic. Populism is not only changing the strategic orientation of emerging powers like India but also profoundly affecting the power structures of Western nations. On the brink of war and conflict, a lack of communication and strategic divergence among allies is weakening the effectiveness of multilateral collaboration, while regional powers like Turkey are attempting to play a more proactive mediating role in a fractured international order. Tech Dynamics Briefing, March 18, 2026. Today, New Scientist and related in-depth reports focus on multidimensional perspectives ranging from cosmic exploration to human evolution.